Two tons of fun. Well, alright. Two tons of fun. Well, alright.
Welcome. Tons of fun. I'm your moderator, Mally. Today's topic is religion again. We're going to try to redo what we did last week. We had a few technical difficulties and things, but let's hope we get it right this time. How was it up there, guys?
Hot.
It's all good.
It's hot up there too?
Muggy.
Humid and hot.
Yeah, it's burning up here. I don't know if you can hear it, but I have my fan on.
I hear somebody's fan.
Nice.
I don't
know. It'll be fine. But other than that, everything good?
Yeah,
no craziness?
busy.
Oh man, I had one of the craziest days. Yesterday, something was in the water in Chicago. Like,
something in the water.
I'll tell you guys off air, but like, something was not right in Chicago yesterday. Things was wild. It involved pistol whipping, cars getting. It's a lot of stuff.
It's getting hot. That's what's happening. It's getting hot in Chicago.
Yeah.
Everybody know when it get hot in Chicago, you get loose.
Witness a pistol whipping. Just some randoms.
Wow.
Man, it was crazy. I was just walking somewhere. I'm just like, yo, man.
I never could understand pistol whipping.
It's one step from getting shot, but accept that pistol whipping.
Warning.
Yeah, it's this person walking. I was like, oh, hey, man, put that thing up. And then he was like, he was cursing somebody out about something. And then whatever the grounds, I was like, hey, man, this is a little too far. It's getting extreme. Let's let it go. He slapped the person with the pistol. I was like, that's time for me to go if I get accidentally shot. Like,
I know. That's what pistol whipping is not wise.
Yeah, then I go home and then somebody else stopped by and then I'm going to I make a run with this person and then that person into it with their woman. And then they get slapped while they driving and I'm in the back seat. I was like, hey. Pull the car over, getting wild. It's just like, this is just
pistol whipping, slapping people while they driving.
Oh man, I had to take over the driving duties and drive back home. I was just like, can y'all just drop me off home before this goes too far?
Was gonna come visit, but I don't think I'm coming into the area.
That was just yesterday. That typically doesn't happen, but not that close to me. Well, I did. You do know that one story from last year when whatever. Somebody had the gun and I made them put it up.
Must be the vaccines.
Last time I seen the gun was in the Navy. I like to keep it that way.
Oh, you see those things all the time.
I'm not a fan.
They shoot so much I can tell you what block they shoot on.
That's ridiculous.
It's typically targeted at the right person, but
this is why they need
anger management. Well, which gets into our topic today. Let's start with you, Quantis. Want to speak a little bit on the faith that you belong to?
My belief system.
Yeah, a belief system, faith, or religion.
Spirit-filled, born again, believer in Yeshua. Most people know it's Jesus. And that's it.
You think the semantics really matter how they pronounce it?
Does it matter how they pronounce your name?
It depends. I usually let it go.
Sometimes we let it go. It's just nice to know.
If it's intentionally pronounced wrong after I correct you, then it's a whole other kind of problem.
Isn't that just a different language pronunciation?
It's the original language.
I wouldn't say that. It's not necessarily. It's like my name, whatever. I pronounce my name as Malachi, but like.
Yeah, your name is not actually.
Some people have called me Malachi and all kind of other stuff, and I'll be like, whatever. I'll just let it slide. But if I personally correct you on how to pronounce my name, and you still do it intentionally, like sometimes you do forget when people do correct you, but like sometimes you can tell somebody's being an asshole. Like, and this is like, I don't like you. I don't want to be bothered with you anymore because you're doing this on purpose. Like, that's the difference. That's what I'm saying. So
that's interesting.
So speak on your faith a little bit, Kaz.
I identify strongly as an agnostic with with Christian traits.
Yeah, clarify
more,
what the hell that means.
I'll let you know. I'll let you know. Because I was raised in the Christian faith, and my experiences in the Christian faith, it's more
Your mic
tradition.
is a little low, Kaz.
That's what I was asking earlier. You said it was fine. Hello?
Now
Is
it's
that better?
way high. Now it's way high. Way too high.
See?
Yeah, I'm sorry.
Hello? Is that better?
That's cool, right there.
All right. So because I was raised in a Christian home, and because I went on my own personal, as you call it, relationship with God later in my youth, a lot of that I hold on as traditional stuff. Some of it I believe, some of it I don't. And that's where the agnostic comes in. I believe my definition of agnostic is that I believe that something exists, the creators exist, but I'm unable to define it. But more than that, I really identify strongly as a humanist. So I care about all things human when it comes to humanity and ethics and morality and treating people like they deserve and stuff. So
well, let's clarify the definition of agnosticism a little bit. It just means you doubt things. It doesn't necessarily mean you have a belief something. It's just like saying I don't really know. I just don't know, and I don't care to exert all my energy to find out. It's like I got other stuff to do that I'll focus on. But with that said, let's get into the
That's a nice big old cup. Where did you get that cup from?
some dollar bill.
Is that new?
Wow.
Oh,
No, it's old.
I haven't seen that one. I guess all the work you've been doing lately uncovered it.
Okay.
Yeah.
So is Quantis, is religion bad? Good for society? Do we need it? Can a society function without it?
Well, like I said on the previous episode, I believe that religion is a set system that people use to interpret God. I, on the other hand, believe in my personal relationship with the Almighty. However, is religion bad? It can be, and then it cannot be. It can have some good attributes to it, and then it can have bad attributes to it. But for overall, the overall goal of religion, period, is to introduce some type of morality.
But you're a self-described biblical apologist, right?
Mm-hmm. I'm a biblical apologist.
Okay, actually. so people that take all of those words in that book, the Bible, the Christian Bible, that you subscribe to, may take some of those things literally from the older testaments and say you have to do that, and could that really lead to bad things? Like,
well, you have people that misinterpret things. Yes, you have folks that it's not necessarily literal or metaphysical or whatever. There is a pattern to the scriptures, and most people don't know it. However, those of us that really know the patterns and the shadows and the typologies, when you have that, you won't misinterpret it. It's systematic. It's like if you had a manual, if you're putting something together and you know how to read that manual, you're not going to put it together falsely. It's like we play Monopoly. You know the rules of the game, and then you know when somebody's out of order, and they play a perverted version of it. It's kind of the same thing.
Okay, but it's
I
really
didn't mean to laugh. Malachi
he saw me drinking. I saw.
Took a damn sip of Elijah Craig from the bottle like it was juice. I didn't mean. I just was like this Negro. He done took it to a whole. That's what's in your water. That's what's in the Chicago water.
Thank you.
I'm not the one doing this shit. I'm calm down. I think they need to put this in the water so everybody just calm the hell down.
If they put Elijah Craig in the water,
the whole city will go to sleep.
I don't think so.
That's what's got. That's what I don't.
Well, I don't know. When
you had to graduate from them cheap liquors. Them cheap liquors make you know what?
That's not true.
This is where Christianity had it right. Jesus even knew. He said, these people need to calm down. Let's turn this water into wine. Jesus even knew.
See, you just made the
calm
point.
down. Calm it down. Sip on
Wait a
some
minute,
wine.
wait a minute. Wine? Does wine calm you down? Actually,
Yes.
Wine calms me down, yeah. Especially red wine. That's probably what he turned.
but you know what? You're right. That wine yeah, you know what? Because the wine, but when I was growing up, they had this one wine called Mad Dog 2020, which I
That is
really don't
not
think
a
That's not
wine. That
wine.
is disgusting.
the people would be fighting and getting crazy.
That's not wine.
I don't know what that stuff is.
That's malt liquor.
That's a chemically induced.
That's
Okay,
some GM.
remember
that's
me
some
and you
GM
was
what do they
talking a
call
few
it?
days ago about the difference between Ready Rock and Freebase.
Yeah.
That's the difference. That's Ready Rock.
That's another program. Yeah.
Yeah, that's
Wow.
we'll do one of
You know what? I guess that's true because people would always be fighting when they had either Mad Dog 2020 or Richard's Wild Irish Rose.
Oh, that's another bad one.
I guess the names tell on itself, right?
Yeah.
Wild Irish Rose.
Yeah. The Craig makes you real calm and go take
But
a
they
nap.
do have one whiskey called Christian Brothers.
Yeah. R.I.P. Steve. Yeah, he used to love that one. But like,
God bless him.
He's
Rest his
deceased.
soul.
Don't even stop making fun of him.
I forgot the dude was dead, man. That's no, seriously, that's sad though. When somebody's not supposed to be gone.
You lost how many friends that you lost to COVID or during this period?
26.
Nah, that's tough. I didn't
26. I was 25 and 26 with my friend that just passed last Saturday.
Yeah. Mr. I know what you're talking about. We're not gonna say his name. But Kaz, with that said, do you think religion is good or bad for society?
I think religion is a double-edged sword. I think Quantis said that religion's purpose is to set a goal of morality. I think religion, and not a belief system, I'll have to clarify. I don't want to get yelled at. But religion, the institution of religion, I personally believe, based on some of my research, that it's used to control the masses, to control the people, and to have a type of dominion and control over them. I mean, even if you look at today, if the pastor says, I support this candidate, they're not telling you to vote for it, but you're going to go vote for it because Pastor so-and-so said, this is the man, this is God's chosen, this is the righteous one, which is why you kind of had that mix, and why you kind of have this restructuring of the evangelicals even right now, the white evangelicals especially, where they are trying to refine themselves because they idolize this nutcase because their leadership told them to believe in it. So I see a lot of that even in modern day, but even when you look at the origin of a lot of these early religions that are mainstream today, it was to control the people.
And Kaz, that was crazy too, because I'm still baffled. Because on one hand, these people saying they following the scriptures, but then you got this cat that is basically not anything that the scriptures is talking about. It's crazy.
Oh, the scriptures do talk about him towards the end of the book. Shoot, it's so funny to me that you had someone like Barack Obama and Michelle Obama. Michelle Obama wore a dress that showed her arms. It was such a big scandal in the
shout out to Michelle Obama's sexiness. She's very sexy.
Yeah,
it was a scandal though in the white evangelical circles.
I get the radar.
You got someone like Melania Trump, and she's the next Jackie O. But I can go on.
She's cool too. Like she's attractive.
But when I'm saying
our last couple of Jill Biden.
I'm saying I can go on the internet and see this woman's clit. So don't tell me that Michelle Obama.
Yeah, she was nude. She was like nude. Was it a porno type of thing, or was it?
Yes. And so don't sit here and tell me Michelle Obama is ungodly because she had her arms out, but you got this whole woman's clitoris out for the whole world to see, and she's the next Jackie O. So I saw a lot of discrepancies, and to be honest, it goes into racism, the institutional racism, and I think religion plays a role in white supremacy. You had, that was the Catholic Church in you got, what do they call evangelicists, going to other countries and which is a form of imperialization. It was imperialization of faith and taking other people's faith away from them. You even have what happened to Black Americans in the United States. We were enslaved and we were stripped of our faith. We were stripped of our heritage. We were stripped of our culture. And the only book that we could read was the Bible. And that's why you have such a, I think, and you can correct me if I'm wrong, Quantis, just on the religious spectrum, not the belief spectrum, but on the religious spectrum, that's why you have such wide different variants of the Black church versus the white church. It's completely different. And now you start to see that there's a menagerie of it's profitable, so the white folks started coming in. So you got churches with an all Black majority Black congregation listening to
Well,
a white man.
My
it's
mind
kind of
close.
crazy. It's kind of crazy when you tell people, okay, if I'm playing the advocate, you're supposed to be this Christian slave master, but yet you don't want your slaves to read this Bible. because if they read this Bible, they'll realize that what you're telling them is a lie. And that's what actually we talked about a little bit last week. That's almost a cult. Because when you're trying to tell people something and you won't even let
Okay.
them
Okay,
see
with
the
that
truth.
said, get into the difference between the cult and religion. Since you jumped into our next question, what is the difference?
To me, a cult is like following the personality to a I don't know, to a fault or whatever. I don't know how you want to say it, but it's like they can do no wrong. This person is like,
But ain't that how you feel about Jesus?
just like how Trump is. No, Jesus is perfect, but he lived a perfect life. This person, Donald Trump, that we're talking about, has not lived a perfect life, and people follow him, and then they're being hypocritical because of what they say they have in the scriptures. It doesn't pertain to this guy. That's a cult when it really becomes hypocrisy. And even if you don't even have any scriptures, sometimes you can follow a celebrity to the point of a cult. You know, this person is like I remember some Michael Jackson concerts, man, and people would literally, you would think you were in some kind of church service because people were like, oh, falling out under the presence of Michael Jackson when he come in. That type of thing I think it's happening with Beyonce. I'm not sure because I've never been
They
there.
have everybody has that kind of following, but that's one thing, and
that's dangerous to me.
But at the same time, it's no different than like you saying religion could be good or bad. Like some of those cult leaders lead people into good stuff too.
But what if Michael Jackson would have said, I want 9 people to go kill?
But he did. He said it
They
don't
would have
matter.
did it.
He said it
Yeah.
don't matter if you're black or white. Let's change
But
the world and stuff.
what if a Christian leader goes and say, "Hey, homosexuals, fags go to hell"?
They do that. They do that.
that. So I think you look at the term cult. The word cult it's a part of the word culture, and to me, a cult is someone being a member of a cult is someone being in a group where you don't think for yourself. You don't have any thinking of yourself. They speak, you do.
Yeah.
They speak, you believe. You question nothing. You look at some religions like Jehovah's Witnesses. You can't question nothing. You go, they don't even allow you to go to the police. You got to go to the elders, and they got to do it. And they control every aspect of these people's lives. And they make it to the point where you have lost your autonomy. So when I think of a cult, I think of a place where my autonomy is taken away from me. If I'm going to a church and I'm going to a Christian service and I got a question and I want to question your interpretation of the Bible, but you telling me to sit down, shut up, just believe it, just because that's what I've been told. You know, a lot of kids told, well, why is Jesus' birthday on Christmas? No, why do we celebrate Christmas if Jesus wasn't born on the 25th? Oh, that's just because that's just what we do. That's just what we do. So to me, that's cultish behavior.
It is.
And part of a culture. Is it necessarily bad? Not necessarily. But do I think, like, you know, growing up, my dad taught me, this is one of the biggest things that will always stick with me. He said, be a free thinking individual. And I say that because when I've read the Bible cover to cover. I'm not a biblical apologist. I'm throwing that out there. And my Bible skills are very rusty. But one thing that I remember in the beginning of creation, which is why we even had the original sin, we had free will. We had the ability we had autonomy, because my interpretation was the creators didn't want to force themselves on us, didn't want to control us. They wanted to give us autonomy to make decisions so that we could come willingly. And so to me, cults typically take away your autonomy. Now, some people need that autonomy. You know, you got some people, like, for example, my brother can't take care of himself. So he has lost his autonomy. We have a person appointed over him to take care of him and make decisions for his well-being. That's a good example of that. But
that's an extreme case, though. That's very extreme.
No,
case.
but I mean, there's some people that just that person that pistol slaps somebody. They don't need their autonomy. They need to be. Some people need to be.
There's nothing wrong with him. He just needs emotional counseling.
People that
That's what I mean.
Crimes.
Some people need to be corralled to grow, and then they can release.
And I think
people that commit crimes need to be.
Okay, so let me tell you what I think.
You lose your autonomy. I agree with the prison system.
The good part,
somewhat.
Okay, I don't even get into prison reform. We say that for another.
Oh, you don't think that some people need to be in jail?
I'm not talking about that part, but we're gonna save this for another episode. But the good things I do think about religion are like, I do like the ministry and the outreach side of it, where you do like outreach to people in prison or people that go, you know, just talk to the people in the hospital or give food to the hungry, things like that. I do like those parts.
I mean, do what the Bible tells you to do.
They got what's it, Catholic? I'm not a fan of the Catholic Church, but they got Catholic charities that work with placing foster kids in places, right? So there's so many. But so you so take much that for nuance.
Example, you take that for example. Sorry for interrupting, but you take that for example, where the Catholic Church got an adoption agency, and they won't let gay parents adopt those children. But the Bible don't say only help these people if they're not gay. Only do things for these people if they don't agree with you. No, the Bible didn't say that. It said go out and do these things, feed the poor, feed the hungry, visit the sick, take care of the people in your neighborhood. It didn't say if they only are willing to accept your belief system, do those things.
I don't even think they got something against gay people. It's something against openly gay people, because there's a bunch of closeted gays in the Catholic Church, and they know it.
Oh yeah.
Up in the higher ranks. So you take something like that. That's when I think you start falling into cultish behavior. When you start saying, I can't help you if you don't. I can help you, but you got to believe what I believe, and you got to go to the youth service on Wednesday, and you got to go to choir rehearsal on Monday. I don't even think it's I believe what I believe. It's believe what I believe in front of everybody else. That's the biggest problem. Because they're full of shit behind doors. Most of them are full of it.
Not what I do.
Most people that do, most organizations that I'm familiar with, because I've ran shelters, I've worked with Catholic charities, I've worked with a lot of different organizations. There's no one trying to force anybody to believe anything. That happens when a person wants to become a member.
If kids go to Catholic school, they tell the parents to come to mass.
I'm not talking about Catholic school. We were talking about philanthropic stuff like shelters and homeless and feeding people.
I was just talking about adoption.
When you ran your shelter, did the people in the shelter have to go to church?
No, we could not, because
you encouraged it, though, right?
No, we didn't even ask them to come, because
you held a church right next door to where they live.
Let me finish. You were not allowed to do that. Proselytize, because you're getting government money. Now, we left it up to the people if they wanted to come. It's their option. They could have.
You know what? You just brought up a really good topic. You got Catholic charities, hospitals, a lot of private hospitals that are religiously affiliated that receive government money. That under our current legislation and under the current atmosphere of freedom of religion in this country, they can reject certain services to people of the LGBTQ community. They can reject certain services to women for Planned Parenthood, for planning for reproductive purposes, because it goes against their belief system. And so what all I'm saying is, that's not what the Bible says. It didn't say do this only if you believe what I believe. And these aren't people wanting to be members of their flock. These are people coming to get help from the people that are supposed to help them, that have been charged from the scriptures, from their God, to help them. But they say, no, we can't help you. Even as simple as a man making a cake. No, I'm not going to make you a cake because you don't believe what I believe. So that's when I start saying it falls into a cultish category, because
I
that's
believe that
contrary.
people
That's
have
contrary to what the scripture
a
says.
person making a cake for this person. I believe even the person is a white person and they don't want to make a cake for a black person. That's their private business.
That is, I think that is your private business, but don't hide it behind your faith, because your faith teaches you contrary. So don't say I'm not doing it because it doesn't align with my Christian beliefs. Say you're not doing it because you're a bigot. Say the truth. So that's what I'm getting at. Because the Christian faith, Jesus didn't say only do this for your people that believe what you believe. He said do it to all.
So I think we get into a whole another subject though. So.
You know what? To be honest, is when people do things openly and from their heart, that's what draws people near. And that's what Jesus knew. He didn't put limitations. He hung out with the prostitute. He hung out with the outcast. He didn't say, you can't hang out with me because you doing this, that, and the other. He says, I'm going to love on you regardless. I'm going to wash your feet. So this is what I mean when I'm agnostic with Christian traits. I take those lessons and I apply them to my life and to humanity. Jesus, to me, was the biggest humanist ever. He didn't care about where you were in your life and in your journey. He says, I'm going to shower you with love, because love never fails. So that's my biggest problem. I don't have a problem with you doing what you want to do, but don't hide it behind your faith, because that's not what your faith teaches.
Okay, with that said, let's get into our rank it segment. So rank it, I was thinking about ranking like Jehovah's Witnesses and Mormons and all that stuff, but I changed my mind. That would have been too far.
Yeah,
let's
No, I'm not gonna rank it. I rank them all at the bottom. Hell, that's it.
I do. That's why I didn't do it, because I was considering doing that. Well, let's rank something else with that's a little bit more fun.
We need to take a trip, and we need Tons of Fun needs to have an outing and go see the Book of Mormon.
I wouldn't mind. I want to see. I haven't seen it yet, but I seen an episode of South Park that is the rapper, which is great. So but let's yeah, it was hilarious. But let's rank it these parts of the services in the Christian faith that we come up with. No disrespect to anybody in any different faiths, but that's the faith that all of us come up in. And so we're gonna do this. So the sermon.
And if you have another faith, feel free to talk, and we would love to.
Yeah, add some other stuff, because we don't know everybody's perspective. Comment on our stuff. Join our group.
I came up with a suggestion in the pre-production for you was here. If we could just rank preaching or delivery styles.
It still don't mean everybody. Some people don't even have them kind of.
Yeah, they do. Everybody has some kind of orator in their.
We don't know for a fact.
So yes, they do. Imams, they speak. You know, everybody has somebody.
Buddhists just do that bail.
I don't know, but we're just gonna stick to what we know, since the three of us come from.
What is that religion Tina Turner used to celebrate? Buddhism. What was that religion?
I don't know. Buddhism.
Yes.
Hare Krishna. No, it was something.
Buddha. That's Buddhism.
But it wasn't true Buddhism. It was like a derivative of it.
Something that
I have to look it up.
But whatever. Let's go to. Do you like the praying part or the praise and worship, the tithes and offering, the sermon, or the testimonials the most? We'll start with you, Kaz.
Praise and worship, because I like music. Tithes and offering, because I like music. When I used to go to get them testimonies, as long as they do run a little long, them testimonies be interesting. That's
my favorite one by far. I love the storytelling. When you get a good storyteller up there, boy, oh boy.
Now I wish instead of prayer you would say altar call.
Altar call, then fine. Altar call.
If you say altar call, I'm gonna put altar call up first.
We need to add the altar call to it. You can add altar call to it, but you still got the boring standard prayer too. Like they just got to do the prayer. Yeah, let's everybody do your new seat. You got them boring ass prayers too.
If I replace prayer with altar call, that's gonna be first. Because when I was younger, I'd be going up there almost every Sunday. I masturbated this week. I cursed my mother out, Lord. I backslid, and I need Jesus. Give me. I was a mess. Jesus, I'm still a mess. So altar call, praise and worship, tithes and offering, testimonies in the sermon. That sermon be boring, especially you get one of my uncles up there be talking forever. They be screaming into the mic, and then they be getting mad when nobody be saying, "Amen, Pastor." Yes, Pastor. And then they say, "You're not listening. You're not woke." And then the next thing you know, it's 2-3 hours later, and you gotta wait for them to give you the food.
Oh, what about when them churches used to have the extra service? Nobody don't go no damn nighttime service too. Go ahead, Quantis.
Well, my favorite part of the service is prayer, and that's because that's the part. Prayer and worship kind of go together. So it's the prayer and worship, and I really don't care for testimonies because sometimes people get carried away.
That's because you're so self-absorbed, you don't want nobody else to talk but you.
No, that's not it at all. I only preach for, like, contrary to the other brothers that was mentioned, I only preach for like 30 to 40 minutes because people can't retain all that stuff. And yeah, so preaching is last because preaching is the means to an end to introduce you to the presence of God. It's not supposed to be the end all be all.
You have them people that electrify you though, like I like TD.
I mean, that's
why it's the longest part of the service. It needs to be the shortest.
It needs to be the shortest because well, see,
they
that's
why can all be tithes
some people
can always be
you have, like I said, that's what I was telling you about preaching styles. You have motivators, like TD Jakes is a motivator. You have storytellers. You have then you have your 3-point sermon people.
I think you also gotta realize, like, the Bible breaks people down. What prophet, teachers, event. Sometimes you got someone that you think is a pastor and they a teacher.
Okay, so what you gotta understand about the different strands of Christianity. Some people don't believe in the fivefold. So what you just described is what you call the fivefold. You got the evangelist, the teacher, the prophet. But some people don't believe in it. They don't believe that there's modern day apostles.
That's why, in my wisdom, I said the preaching styles, because everybody can equate to that. You got the shouter, you got the dude that well. Some people like that. I like
all of them if it's done correctly.
I only brought up that
like
fivefold business because I think that's important, because you do have some people, if you're a teacher, it's going to be a longer sermon. It's going to be broken down. It's going to be this. If you're someone like Muncie and you're a performer, I don't know what category he fall under, but it's going to be completely
different. He just made up a new
one. Muncie's a storyteller.
He's
a storyteller.
He's a goddamn blank. But those were some entering and dang on church service. He had 3 church services. Then they moved up to 4. So people they had church on Saturday.
Back to back.
Back to back. Your voice be tired after that.
You stay for the second service. You've seen it already.
I just found out Tina Turner.
I bet you know that story when he's through though.
What the? I just found out Tina Turner was a Buddhist Baptist. What the hell is a Buddhist Baptist?
I've never heard of it. So many mergers and different kind of faiths out here. No disrespect to anybody that's a Buddhist Baptist out there.
Muncie's a very good. He's an illustrative storyteller. That's what he is. He does illustrative stories.
But I also find that, like, you got, I think you see a big
and facial reconstruction.
Wait a minute. Is it facial reconstruction?
Deconstruction.
Is it deconstruction? Good Lord.
Woo! Anyone from FCC watching this, we pray for your servant.
We pray for your servant.
We're not coming against
your servant.
I'm not part of the faith, so I'm good.
You know when you come, if you come against one of God's chosen, they could come on you. We're not coming against you. We're just giving some positive criticism.
Hey, touch not my reconstructed and do my. I'm sorry. I had to say that. I'm gonna get blasted for that one.
It's okay. It's okay, man. We just having fun. Everybody knows that we do a satirical show that allows people to please join our group.
Do my storytellers no harm.
Join our group. Join our group because it's really fun in the group.
Some people get carried away with that stuff, though. We got celebrities, man. I was looking at Janet Jackson.
Michael Jackson. Michael Jackson just destroyed his face. It's so sad. But you know what? It come from self-image. But You know what I do like? I think you're starting to see a shift in the Christian faith, where you're starting to get where they're not so, and some people like it, some people hate it. Where it's almost like you go to church for a motivation. They're motivational speakers. They're not
Well, Kaz,
extremely open.
This is what you got to realize. Until our government provides services for mental health, that is one of the few places people got to go for mental health.
And I'm going to say this. The church saved my life. I was struggling with my mental health, and I still struggle with it today. Which is why I still lean on some things.
Lean on me when I'm wrong. I don't even know the song.
That's not how it goes.
It's when you're not strong.
When you're not strong, I'll be afraid.
Kaz, I'm only 185. You cannot lean on me with that 400 pounds. It's going to break something.
Lean on me. I'm going to ask Lila about that one.
You know, speaking of Lila, my dog, my beautiful dog, she about 30 pounds now. Her leg healed up wonderfully. Now, just a little backstory to those that don't know. So back in January, when I got Lila, 4 months old, we had these chairs, and we were having a little party, and we were dancing. You know, COVID fatigue. My dog, she liked to hide up under my chair. I danced. The chair broke, landed on a tibia, fractured it, spiral fracture. Pretty bad, horrible. So I bring the
spiral
dog
means this, like that. Yeah, that's
with
really
a
bad.
butterfly,
like,
whatever they
spiral
say.
stairs. You know, we get it.
Because she was a puppy, it healed really good. So I said, screw it. I'm going to pay the extra money for some church chairs. Because we all know it. Them church chairs are used to wide loads, and they can take it. So I bring my dog into the studio. You know what she went and did? She was under my chair again.
You're not too smart, man.
You got no
Yeah. You ain't learned your damn lesson.
She's like, I'm gonna hide under this chair. Let this chair crack. This is dang on steel. She gonna be on.
She is the total example of what's the dude? What's the book? The Book of Job. She is the Book of Job. She got the most faith in the world, man. She got that fucking shit cracked, and she gonna try to do it again. But
she went right up under that chair. I was like, this girl, man, she don't know.
Crazy. Let's move on. If you had to guess, what percentage of people inherit their religion from their family? Let's start with you, Kaz. Quantis. We'll go Quantis.
I didn't. 90%.
90. You didn't? What you mean you didn't?
You
Christian?
I didn't mention it on this one. No, I was never. I never believed in that stuff, man. I was like, I tried it. It was.
But don't
you still ended up Christian?
Don't you come from like a derivative, even though your belief system isn't the whole same.
See, you when you
they
came,
believed in Jesus and God.
When you came, Kaz, the family had been kind of baptized, so to speak. When I came, you know, I'm used to seeing people drinking and screwing and cheating and
what's wrong with that stuff?
Still, it was more tradition than it was actually a walk.
No,
but what's wrong with drinking and screwing and cheating?
My family was CME, Christmas, Mother's Day, and Easter. That's the only time.
So wait, are you saying they didn't believe in Jesus?
That was their on paper thing, but it didn't become hard until later on.
Well, no, I'm not saying
it was really watered down. They wouldn't even say.
But they had a semblance. They had a
not what you think. It's not what you think.
No,
yeah, but it laid the foundation for what you led to. Because if they was Islam, you might have led to Islam, right?
No. I started seeking for God at like 12, and then it was a very big disappointment.
But that was because of the sect or the denomination that they were brought up in. You basically just switched denominations.
I didn't switch anything. I had an experience.
Okay, you had your experience, which is part of a denomination. Because a lot of people...
I had my experience in my bedroom.
Is born again...
you know what's funny? Somebody gonna tell you about the experience that you had.
I'm not talking about your experience. I'm just saying
it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. It wasn't because somebody gave me a track from a certain ministry
I'm not saying
or anything
that.
like that.
You had an
So
encounter.
you all up in my conversation.
It's just like alien.
Don't
people
try to
that say they
tell
had
me.
alien.
I've been cool up until this point because you're trying to tell me what I had.
No, I'm not. You trying to tell me what I'm saying, and that's not what I'm saying. I understand.
Why are you in what I'm? Why are you trying to be in my conversation with the audience?
Let them finish, Kaz.
Do you understand what I'm saying?
The same
Nobody
question to you
said
next.
nothing about you with what you was. I let you ramble. Nobody said anything. I told you, my family was not the same family that when you entered into the family, it was totally different. And it was because people had actually had experiences with God. The family that I had, that stuff was so watered down. The Christianity was merely just Mother's Day, Christmas, and Easter. That was it. It was.
Wait, hold on. When the hell Mother's Day got to do with Christianity?
Those was days that people went to church.
Oh, okay. I'm about to say because I understand Christmas and Easter, but Mother's Day don't have nothing to do with
my dad didn't even step foot in the. He was a Methodist. My mom was raised Baptist.
Okay.
And she didn't drive, so she didn't have any ability to get us to church.
So he dropped off.
My dad didn't drop anybody off at church. It was my aunt Liberty. She's God rest her soul. She was a Sunday school teacher. And that was the only type of thing that I got introduced with church. I can't speak for my other cousins.
So you inherited that experience at the very least.
No, I like to go to Sunday school because I could get up under the table and look up under little girls' dresses.
Even if it's for perverted reasons, that's your start in Christianity.
That's where I was introduced to the concept of the Bible, yes.
Okay. Same question, Kaz.
What's the question?
Percentage.
Well, how many get it from their family?
I think so. So what I was trying to say, I do think that families influence a belief system. Like I identify as agnostic, but if my family wasn't Christian, I wouldn't be agnostic with Christian beliefs. If my family identified as Muslim, I'd be agnostic with Muslim beliefs. If my family identified as Buddhist, I'd be agnostic with Buddhist beliefs. So I think your family plays a role in setting it, no matter how watered down it is, which I wasn't debating your experience, your personal experience. What I was saying is that
speak on yourself, man. You're really pissing me off right now.
Calm down. Let him finish.
Yes, because you're trying to tell me what led to what. And it did the exact opposite because I went to being an atheist because of that. Then I searched on my own, not because of my family's. It turned me off. It didn't influence me. And it wasn't because these seeds or little watered down seeds of Christianity were planted. It did the exact opposite. Now, that's the only problem I'm having with you.
My turn to talk.
The only problem, don't try to get all high and mighty right now because you interrupted me and you're still talking to me through what is your turn. Don't try to be slick because that's what you're doing. You're still trying to back up what you said during my turn, still talking about me. So you open the door.
Okay. But I didn't.
If you would have just left that alone instead of trying to tell me how I arrived to the conclusion.
I'm not trying to tell you how you arrived.
Yes, you are.
No, I'm not. That's what
if you don't think you're doing that,
and I'm
then
sorry. That's how you feel. That's your personal.
That's not how I feel. People can see the tape.
That's how you feel. That's not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is,
I don't know what you're thinking, then, Kaz.
All right, then shut up, and you might get to know what.
No, you need to shut up because that's how it started when you interrupted.
If you want to be quiet and let me finish my thought,
you're still addressing me through your testimony. What you're saying, you're still talking to me.
I like them testimonies.
My favorite part.
You're still talking to me. So
I'm talking about my family. I'm talking about my family.
No, you're not.
I'm talking about my personal experience with my family.
Let him finish, Quantis.
And my family.
Quantis, let him finish. Then you go next.
When I was at my most religious point, my family didn't go to church. My mom didn't go to church. When I was going to church 3 times a week, my mom would drop me off and let another lady take me to church for Wednesday service. When I had my experience with God. So I can relate. What I was trying to do is simply relate. That's okay, but you won't even let me get a thought because you think it's a personal.
Let him finish.
You think it's a personal attack.
Stop the back and forth.
I'm not saying this is an attack.
Finish your point.
Quantis,
Quantis, let
I'm
him
not saying
finish.
this attack. He keeps opening the door,
Let
Malachi.
him finish. He's trying to finish his
I'm
statement.
trying to let him finish.
Explain yourself. Kaz.
Tell
Finish.
your story.
I'm
That's
telling
it.
Go ahead, Kaz.
So when I was growing up, like I said, I was going through my experience. When I talked to my grandmother and listened to their childhood experience, their mother died in church. I learned that from listening to their stories. It was a very traditional thing with them. It wasn't a holy, the thing that I saw when I was a child. They told me the stories of how they were growing up. It was a very traditional. It was Christmas. It was that, I think Quantis talked about the Christmas woman or whatever. He said something like that. And that's what was really big growing up when I was growing up. It wasn't so much that we went to church. I didn't see people speaking. I think the first time I saw people speaking in tongues and stuff was when I went to Quantis's church. And I have an experience of going to the retreat and Quantis was praying over our whole family. Then the next thing, if you know, my mom was big. Then we all went down. I didn't know what was going on. I didn't feel no Holy Ghost at that time until I started walking through my own personal experience. I was only simply trying to relate to you. I wasn't trying to tell you anything about your experience. That's not what I'm about. I'm not going to tell someone how they arrived to their experience. All I was saying is I can relate to that because it was very similar. I've never seen my dad step foot in a church. So this idea of that I grew up under this different wave of the Holy Ghost and everything is not true. It's a fallacy. That's what you were saying about me. That's what I was trying to correct. But you took it as
I was just going by the earlier statement that you made.
You wouldn't let me finish.
You said you was born into this Christian family and reared in these Christian ways.
No, I said
that's on the tape earlier.
Like beliefs. I come from a family that raised me Christian. And the simple fact that what makes it Christian is that they believed in Jesus, that they believe Jesus died on the cross. They celebrated it. It don't matter how watered down it was, that was the default faith, even if they never went to church. Okay, so that's what I was trying to get to. Default, I know Muslim people that they don't go to the mosque. They don't do the praying all the time. They're not devout. I didn't say my family was devout Christians. They were sometimey Christians. They were backsliders. They were all this other stuff. But what I'm saying is, because I knew a little bit about it, even when I was in my lostness, I started to search to see for myself because I was taught to
Then I stand corrected because I thought you said earlier in the program that you came from this,
I do come from a Christian background. Coming from a Christian background does not mean I came from devout Christians.
Okay.
If I need to clarify that, I clarified it.
Okay.
But I come from a Christian background, and that's why I identify as an agnostic.
With that said, how many people you think?
I didn't say Christian beliefs. I said Christian traits, and I said that for a reason because they're traits of Christianity that I believe in.
I got you, sir.
Okay. With that said, how many people think?
And look,
how many people are so devout that they read their books?
Is that my shirt?
How many people really reading their books, Grant? I'm sorry, Quantis.
The 15. Oh, you said
that looked like where that shirt come from?
Whose shirt?
We be swapping clothes.
No, you be stealing my clothes. Let the truth be told. That's why I won't let you do my laundry no more. I'm like, where's my favorite shirt?
He's like, he's fat. I'm fat. This is the first person I've been able to steal clothes from in a while.
It's called tithes. You had to pay tithes on the clothes.
You said that's your least favorite part of the service.
It's not the washing the clothes. He couldn't fit that shirt.
I hate washing out of the chores. Washing clothes ain't too bad because you just drop
washing clothes is not bad at all.
It's the folding the clothes. I hate folding clothes.
I don't fold anything. I hang everything up.
I hate hanging nails folding. I hate them both.
I like hanging. You just don't have enough room.
I got 2 closets.
You got room now, Big Daddy.
I got enough room for me and Rebecca.
Okay.
Oh, did you know?
You're going full drag now. I'm trying to get your brother on the next episode.
Did you know that Kobe Bryant,
the one that lost lives, your brother
used to reserve a spot for his alter ego when he called the
I read that in the article a couple days ago.
That's crazy, man.
It's really not that crazy. To be honest.
He would switch fucking chairs. No, it's ridiculous.
Oh, he would switch chairs. I didn't know
Yes.
he switched.
He reserved spots in the
I
restaurant.
thought he reserved it.
No,
as,
no,
like,
he had
you
more
know.
than one alter ego. He had to have like 4 chairs, man, just to switch while he
He,
eats.
he was. Well, you know what? That's not that bad either. You know why? Because certain people, like for me, I think different ways. And creating imaginary friends is one of the ways that I can organize my thoughts. And I think that just because that's not the norm, it doesn't mean that we're crazy. We think differently, and we have to organize.
That's the definition of crazy, thinking differently.
Whatever.
Out the box.
Fine. I'm crazy.
So am I. And
What
I'm
is
fine.
the definition of crazy?
Thinking that you can make a podcast that people will watch, even if you never have any podcast experience, right?
I know the definition of insanity. I'm not insane.
It's doing the same thing, expecting different
No,
results.
I don't do that kind of stuff, but I am kind of crazy. I do try things that
I'm definitely out of the box.
All right, but which one is more difficult then? Belonging to something that boxes you in, maybe they call it religion, or going against the grain and trying not to be a part of something that you grew up in.
But for me, belonging to something.
Belonging to something is harder?
Yeah, because I always think outside the box.
So belonging to something is harder than going against the grain.
For me,
Yeah.
going against the grain is easy because I'm rebellious.
You're an asshole. I said it on live. Go ahead, Kaz. Same question.
I think for me, belonging to something is easier because it requires less.
It's
thinking on my
conformity,
part.
right?
It requires less thinking on my part, and it provides security. I think that's why a lot of people do a lot of devout people do it because it provides a sense of belonging. For me, the journey I'm on right now is learning how to be my authentic self and learning different things and trying to be me, not be what I think other people want me to be. That's difficult. That's very difficult to do. Because a lot of depending on how you were raised and the people that you have around you, there's a lot of people that speak stuff over your life and say you're this because you look this way, you have to be this. Because you want to do ballet, you have to you this. So understanding that I can wear makeup and that don't mean I want to be a woman. I can dress in drag, that don't mean I want to be a woman. I can wear a suit and that don't mean that I can play a thug.
But dressing in drag does mean that you want to act like a woman for that period of time.
No, it doesn't. It does not mean I want to be a woman. It means I want to perform. Okay. And I think that people have to understand. Keywords. A lot of people say, I don't understand this, I don't understand that. Everything ain't for you to understand, especially when it got nothing to do with your life. It's just me being me. And I think a lot of people get upset when they can't figure you out. I can't figure that person out.
Yeah, they like to box
they are. I can't tell if that's a male or a female. I don't like it. And it makes them upset because they can't understand your entirety instead of trying to befriend you and learn about you.
I tie that to religion.
I mean, like, that's the faith. I mean, like, people want to, because I don't go to church. I don't read a Bible. I don't do any of these things, but I have some Christian ideals that I believe and follow, but that makes me whatever. So,
all right, let's get to the solution. We'll start with you, Quantis, then Kaz. Is there a solution to so many different people having different religions or different sects in different sects of a religion or a denomination or whatever belief system, what you call it, that could help us coexist a little bit better and not
solution to what? Coexist?
Yes, it's out of control. You know, some of this is out of control. I shouldn't, to be honest. You walk up the street from me right now, it's 4 churches on one corner. Why is it 4 churches on one corner?
Well, it's a lot of reasons for that. A lot of it is ego.
So what's the solution to the ego? Part. Solution to that, then that's the solution I'm asking.
As far as that goes, it's just humility. You know,
to solving differences in general.
Let people live, man. Live and let live.
No, it's out of control because our community is
It's
suffering.
not out of control because you have 4 different. Some people ain't killing each other. The problem is when you come over
But
and
they're not
start
stopping the killing, and they saying they got the powers
killing
too.
in
What
the
they
name
telling
of your
everybody?
God and all that madness. That's the problem. But you can let people are not gonna all be on the same page. Unity is allowing people to be themselves, let people dwell, and be tolerant of each other. At the end of the day, if that's what you're talking about existing,
Yeah.
of course, as far as my belief system is concerned, I believe
I'm not
other
talking
stuff,
about
but
forcing nobody to do anything. No, that's not what I'm leaning towards. I'm talking about what
tolerance.
not even necessarily tolerating, but what could lead to you talking more and working together. Even if y'all do have those 4 things on the corner, can y'all make that corner not look like shit? Right? You see my point?
Yeah, that's finding things that you have in common and working it towards them.
How
Like
do you get people to
communities.
start that?
Start talking to them,
How?
communicating, approaching each other.
They don't seem to.
You're not gonna want to because people are
I
egotistical and
think
selfish.
Go ahead,
Go
Cass.
ahead, Cass.
Same question.
I think that the way that the solution to this is to lead by example. I have learned in the past few years, I have been learning. So much of my life has been trying to make, trying to influence someone to do this or trying to make them do what I think is the stereotypical thing.
Mm-hmm.
I've learned that I don't have control over what you do. I don't have control over what you do to me. I only have control over how I respond and how I
Mhm.
live in this situation. And I notice when I start living and being myself, regardless of what others are saying, I begin to attract other people that begin to want to know what's different. What are you doing that's different? People become attracted to you when you start being yourself and you stop with the negativity. So I think allowing for me, one of the big things I do is allow people to be people. I'm a humanist. And so I can have a friend, I can have friends that don't believe in my, this is what the whole thing is about. I can be friends with people that have completely radical different beliefs than me. I can be friends with a Trump supporter.
But
I
you
can
got a
be
line in the
friends with,
sand, don't you?
the
But
line in the sand is you just can't, if you can't respect me as a person, I'm not going to be your friend.
you know something I do have to confess.
We can have different opinions, but there has to be some form of respect.
Okay.
If you don't have the
Your line
respect
in
for
the
me,
sand is
that's
respect.
my line. It's
I
respect.
do have a confession, and this has to do with what you just said, the Trump support, and it had got to the point where I was like really pissed off with those people, and then we had somebody, Kaz, you know who I'm talking about, do some work for us, and
He
I
was a
like to
nice guy.
state,
I met him when I was
yep,
up there.
I like what you said, Kaz. Lead by example. This guy was like the best person. I mean, he went overboard. He gave like below market prices, did everything we asked, came on time. Then he turned around, came back and did some favors, you know, for your mom and stuff. And she thought she was getting ready to write a check, and he said, "No, just keep it." He said, "Every once in a while, I just do this for people, and it's on my heart to do it for you." And this person was a Trump supporter, and I was like, "Oh God."
Yeah, he talked to me
I
about the COVID when I was
Yeah,
up there.
I
But he
judge
was nice about
I
it.
I had
It was
judged the
great.
man. I had actually judged the man,
Mm-hmm.
and but it changed my whole thing that people do have hearts just because they believe something else that might be ludicrous. You know what I'm saying? Doesn't mean that you have a right to condemn them. And so it changed my whole thing about how a person could be believing this, but yet could still have a good heart.
Well, he
And
appealed to his humanity,
yeah,
and I think you said something
He
that
was a
these people
decent
need to
man. He
find.
was a decent man
he's
when
a
I
very
met him.
decent man. He
Mm-hmm.
was.
You
He wasn't
said
a butthead.
something about people finding things in common, and the one thing that we have in common is that we're all human beings. And when we can appeal to our humanity and not focus so much on our differences, whether they are physical or mental, or belief systems,
The goal
then
of the
we
show.
can accomplish so much more. And
Yeah.
so that's a big thing. That's why I identify as a
Well, you're
humanist.
getting into it already, then, Cass. Do your final thoughts, then Quantis, and then we'll end it.
My final thoughts is I think religion is good for some, not good for others, but I think that ultimately a lot of these origins of these religions, a lot of what they taught was some humanism ideals. And can we get to a place where we can accept other people's different belief systems from our own, but acknowledge the human being that they are, and acknowledge that human beings deserve to be treated at a bare minimum with some form of respect, and to respect other people's autonomy. That's all I got to say.
That's Cass' final thoughts. DJ Quantis saying,
Well,
final thoughts.
Treat people the way you want to be treated. It doesn't mean treat people the way they treat you. And I'm learning to do that. You know, I'm learning in this stage of my life to treat people, learning, because I have not arrived.
As old as you are, you haven't learned it already?
No. No. And this ain't got nothing to do with religion. This got something to do with my personality, my mindset. But I have to treat people the way I want to be treated. That's something that I'm learning at this point, because it used to be, if you give me this, if you give me smoke, you know, I'm gonna give you smoke back.
Yeah, I'm still in that phase.
And that's not cool. It's just recently, you know,
Yeah.
some things that we all three of us endeavored.
It was.
But you know, I was ready to, you know, get the smoke with the fire. You know, I was ready to do the fire.
You're overreacting as usual.
I don't even think it's an overreaction, man. It's just human nature. It's just, the thing is, the divine part of me was like, no, man, that's not cool, Grant. And so I started to humble myself in the instance. But if you don't, it's like anything in life. Don't let your emotions be your guide. Because if you're too happy, sometimes you make mistakes. If you're too sad, sometimes you make mistakes. It's cool to be even keeled. That's just like if I go buy a car, the salesman trying to get me hyped up. Man, this is you. This is you. Why? Because if I'm overhyped and happy, I'm going to bite the bullet. See what I'm saying? Yeah. So I'm learning not to let my emotions, whether it's anger, whether it's happiness, take charge, and let my guide be treat people the way that I want to be treated. And I've made mistakes in my life. I've been a butthead in my life. So it's a point where, yes, even those that have violated me, I can't sit down and negotiate, you know, a happy medium. And so that's what I believe.
That's fair. Thanks everybody for coming out. We appreciate everyone. Join us next week. Our next episode, I believe I haven't written the outline yet, but I want to do it on relationship goals or friendship. It's between those two. I might do it like a little poll thing and vote within the group. But we'll see you guys next week. Like our page, join our group.
Welcome to 2 Tons.
We love you. Shout out to everybody.
I have to contact my hairdresser
Well,
because I'm not really 100%.
He's one studio over. What the hell are you talking about?
Shut up!
Who wants to have some fun?
I might give me some braids. That'd be different.
Well,
So you can't
I like your braids, Cash. You look the nicest you ever looked with those braids.
Cash look good. He look good.
Yeah, the braids make you
man.
look more like it make you look younger, but more mature.
Yeah, you weird. Yeah, it's kind of like
it's hard to explain.
It's a positive thing, you know. Malachi to say that's a lot, man.
Be happy. I will. I'm wearing braids at least for the end of the year. I'm trying to find. Hey, if any of you are photographers, I need new headshots.
Oh, you want me? I was to stop the live stream. You got something else to say?
You need some headshots.
You had something else to
headshots. So
okay. Say what you got to say now. I'm
turn to the
stop
side.
When you're done, I'm gonna stop the live stream. What do you want to say?
Oh, I said if anybody's a photographer, I need new headshots.
Like so Cass needs headshots. You need anything, Quantis?
No, cause man, at the end of July, I'm finna have everything. I'm finna have my medical.
All right, we
finna
love you.
everything. Good.
Give your mamacita a kiss if she's still alive.
Oh, she there?
I don't know. She might
Hey,
be.
mamacita. Hey, Womel.